Welcome back to the ministry, and I have one more word for you guys. There has been this unction in the spirit that now is the time for us to move. Now is the time for us to shift. Shift in more ways than one: mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and socially, out of the places that we once were and into the places that God has called us to be, right? A lot of people, even if you are had your ear to the ground, have been talking about the fact that it's time to move. It's time to shift. And a lot of us have been like, okay, God's been telling me I need to go, I need to move, I need to shift, but where am I going? The scripture talks about how Abraham was told that go to a place that I will show you. God will show you the place that he wants you to go to. Sometimes he will show you as you are walking towards it, but sometimes he will give you inkling of where he wants you to go beforehand. Some people don't pay attention to those types of wisdoms that God will give you beforehand, because some people don't understand that that's what God's saying. But sometimes the inkling would have probably been in front of your face the whole daggone time. God showed it to you ahead of time. And I'm pretty sure you could probably say this. You got to the place and you might have been like, wait a minute, I remember seeing that on television several times. I remember seeing that there. I remember walking past somebody and they said that name of that location. I remember. But you weren't spiritually attuned to it, and some people don't catch it because they're not listening for that to be what God was telling them. They're looking for God to just say it. It's old meme. Not a meme, but it was a story I heard a pastor tell one time where the person was saying, God, I need you to send me a lifeline. I need your help to get out of this situation. The person pulls up with a car and said, it's time to get out of here. You want to come with me? The person says, no, I'm waiting on God to drop the answer. The house fills up with water. They sitting on the rooftop. God, where you going to bring my rescue? Then a person on a helicopter comes with a rope saying, you going to come with me? No, I'm waiting for God to drop the answer into my spirit. Lastly, it was another thing that popped up. I forgot what the third one was. And it was like, how many times does God have to bring it to you for you not to understand he's trying to show you something? This is where I'm trying to take you. But I've told y'all before, if you listen to every prophetic voice, some will say God can't give you words because he don't speak in audible voice. There are other people that'll say God can't use dreams to speak to you. There are other people that'll say God can't use other things to speak to you. I need you to seek God and see how God's speaking to you, because God is always speaking, and he's not always just using his word. He will bring you a scriptural reference back. For those of y'all that enjoy the wondrous words that some of y'all ministers, and I know a minister that is literally doing reviews of songs, secular music, secular songs. She's doing the reviews of the lyrics and saying God is using this. And that's a minister. She operates out of Dallas. So I need for you to understand God can speak through anything. So God will let you know, but you have to have the ears to hear and the eyes to see where he's speaking from. Can Satan manipulate? Absolutely. Once he knows which way that the Lord is speaking, you got to take some of that stuff back to God to say, was that? Was that? Who was that? Was that? Because Satan targets whatever God is using in order to bring confusion. So I need you to still speak to the Lord. But God will bring you the answer immediately after you ask for it. You just got to be willing to see where he's bringing it to you from. You hear what I'm saying? So with that being said, for some of you, yeah, you're supposed to leave and go somewhere. But I'm going to chide you in this, or what is the word I'm looking for? Pride ain't it. I'm going to give you the little bit of wisdom in this, that the enemy knows that you're supposed to move too. And what the enemy will do is, because he needs you to move out from under God's covering too soon, is he will attempt to bring you information to get you to move out of God's will ahead of schedule. When God speaks to us, sometimes he says something and we ready to roll out the door immediately after he says, "Oh God, that's so good, I'm ready to go." He's like, "I don't need you to leave for another 6 months." But he sometimes don't tell us it's another 6 months. Sometimes he don't tell us it's going to be a year. I was listening to something yesterday, and a woman was giving advice that said, "I've been waiting on God because he said May." And the woman was saying, God did probably tell you that, but you need to make sure you know which May. Is it May 2024, 25, 26, 27? Let me explain something to you. There was a minister that I follow, and he made a point of saying God told him, "You're going to be wealthy." He said, "Yes." And he was married to his wife, and he was like, "Yes, we're going to be rich." God started speaking to him about that wealth. It's been 26 years since he had that confirmation from the Lord. And he's still working on trying to get that wealth together. Abraham, Sarah. How long did it take before he got the promise of Isaac? I need you to understand. God speaks, but sometimes we don't need to be jumping off. We need to do the preparation work. And then on top of it, there are people, and the same minister made the point of saying this. There are people that once you recognize where you're supposed to be, the enemy will go put stumbling blocks in front of the people that are supposed to help you. He said it this way. He said that you need to start praying for the people that God needs for you to connect with, so that his manifestation can be made, because the enemy is going to try to bring them into confusion so that they can't see you. Tiffany Montgomery calls it putting a veil. So because a veil has been put over you, you have to then ask the Lord to illuminate you to the people that are going to what? Bless you. Who are supposed to. That minister talked about there are ministers and people that are supposed to be connected to his ministry, that are supposed to help lift his ministry and certain things up, and they have not been connected to him for years. And he has to constantly pray because the enemy is trying to prevent him from connecting to these people. And another minister I follow, she made the point of saying, God wants you to be connected to people. The enemy will fight tooth and nail to make sure that you do not get connected to these folks. The enemy is okay as long as you connect to this minister, but don't connect to that one. The enemy is okay as long as you get caught up in this relationship, but not with the man you're supposed to be married to. The enemy is okay as long as you have somebody holding up the space for this situation, as long as you're not with the person that's supposed to help you in that situation. Do you hear me, and am I making sense? Why am I saying this? Some of you are in a season that God is supposed to be connecting you with the people you're supposed to be connected to. I need you to hear this. And my ladies, because I do know there's a few men that follow me on here. The man is supposed to come to you. I know we go-getters. We doing this. We listen to God. God done told us, so we're supposed to get out here and do. God gives you the wisdom. God gives you the instruction, God gives you the understanding, and God gives you the spiritual acuity to be able to pray into these things. But some of you, there is a man and or partner, helper, or God divine helper that's supposed to help you out this situation. Yes, he gonna pull you up out that miry clay, but 9 times out of 10 he sends you a helper. Now, I've also been seeing contrary messages sitting there, God's not sending you any help. In this season, I need you to pray and make sure that that's true for you. Because no, he's not going to send you no help if you won't have nothing for this person to come help you with. But if you've done the work and you've done stood in the gap and you done did everything, he's not going to have you have all this stuff that he's done poured into you and not give you the help to help build that thing. Because I guarantee you, yes, Nehemiah was building the wall, but I guarantee you he wasn't on that wall by himself. Some of y'all are anointed builders, but you don't have your partner to help you build that thing. You don't have your team yet that's supposed to help make it easier. You don't have the assistance. Oh, what is the word? God brought a heart of roof word in front of my face yesterday. And it was talking about this person's going to help make it easier. And in it, she was talking about the fact that there are people that are supposed to come into your life. Now, she particularly was talking about your kingdom spouse, but there are people supposed to come into your life that if they see you got this problem and they're anointed to help you, they're going to make it easier for you. You don't have to go from scratch to get to the end result. These people already have the wisdom, the knowledge, and know what pitfalls, upsets, and things that can come along, and they can guide you away from that kind of stuff. You'll get so much further faster because this person has already been anointed, because this is why the enemy wants to keep them away from you. Because as soon as they get to you, you're going to be able to make that thing that God already done gave you work, and work real fast. So with that being said, for some of you, you're supposed to wait on this person to come. It's a partner. It's your God ordained partner. Some of you, it's the servant. Some of you, it's a person that is just supposed to come in contact with you. It's a person that's supposed to contact you, that's supposed to be in alignment to bring you what's necessary for the manifestation of God's will in your life. Bring you what's necessary, bring you the shift, bring you the alignment. But I'm going to need you to know there's also an enemy that wants to get to you too. So you need to pray that enemy don't get access. You need to pray that enemy keeps that door shut to that enemy that wants to gain access to you, because that person is looking and sniffing. I never forget the minister that told the story of the fact that when she and her husband were staying in one of the cities that they have a home in, and she was trying to figure out, God, why is it taking so long for this thing to come together? And the Lord removed the veil over her eyes for being able to see what is in front of her, to allowing her to see what was going on in the spirit. There was a demon stood up to the 2nd floor of her house height, walking through her wooded area in the middle of the night. And the Lord said, that's the demon that's trying to keep whatever it is that's supposed to be coming to you from coming to you. But the reason that he can't find you is because I got a veil, Psalms 27:5, between you and this demon. He's trying very hard to sniff out where you're at. Some of you, the enemy is trying desperately to sniff out where you're at, especially if you praying like I pray, boo. There's an enemy trying to find you right now to kill you. Because you keep praying whatever it is that they want done to not happen. And you're doing it well. Some of y'all don't even realize how good your prayers is. There's people that are supposed to come to you that the enemy is trying to fight, get into you, that when they get to you, they gonna tell you how good your prayers work. I'm telling you, seriously. Coming back to my point. Ruth had a Naomi. Okay. Ruth had a Naomi. Rebecca had the servant that came to get her. And I need you to also go back to Ruth. Ruth came to get when she and Orpah were taken from their village in order to marry Naomi's sons. Think about that. They didn't just wander on up to Naomi's sons. Naomi's sons brought them there to marry them from Moab. Lastly, who else? Esther. I need you to think about this. Esther didn't walk up in that palace. I'm just going to walk up in this palace. I don't know who this king is, but I'm gonna just do it. What happened to Esther? How did Esther get in the king's palace? Does anybody remember? I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to figure it out. I'm gonna give you 3 scenarios because I've seen it done in multiple different formats. But Esther, she was taken. Everybody makes it sound all cute. Esther was taken to the palace and she became part of the. Go look at One Night with the King. What happened? How did Esther get in the castle? There were a bunch of lynchmen that came and snatched her off the front porch.